double-sided moon.
Or anyone else. Who are we talking about? No, we're talking about you. We're talking about you. Now, start to clue in as we continue on. We are talking about you. Their herds and their possessions, all their beasts, should they not be ours? Only let us agree with them. Right? These people are scoundrels. Shechem was the most honorable one. Now they're going to steal everything that Jacob has. Hamor, Jonadab, and Balaam all gave unsolicited advice in the very same way Satan did in the Garden of Eden. Satan caused Eve to lust after forbidden fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Hamor gave advice in order to cover up the rape and take all of Jacob's possessions for himself. Jonadab gave advice on how to rape Tamar. Balaam, in an effort to earn the wages being offered to him, gave advice, voluntary advice, on how to defeat Israel by causing them to lust after sexual perversion. Stop and think. What's wrong with Satan? Why has he always got this sex thing going on? There's something else going on. You know, it's like shadow boxing. You're watching this, and this one's about to knock you out. Don't watch this one. Watch them both. Shechem and Hamor both represent Satan. Dinah and Jacob and Tamar all represent Israel. Now, what am I reading here? Jacob journeyed to Sukkot and built himself a house and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Sukkot. And Jacob came in peace to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram. And he pitched his tent in front of the city. And he bought a piece of field where he had spread his tent at the hand of his sons of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of silver. Why have I got that in there? This is where Joshua built the altar when he crossed the Jordan. That's when Ike was talking to me again this morning. I forgot something. Blame it on Ike. Numbers 22. Now we're going to start talking about Balaam. And the sons of Israel pulled up stakes and pitched in the plains of Moab on the side of Jordan by Jericho. And Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was much afraid of the people because they were many. And Moab was distressed because of the sons of Israel. And you all know this story, and you can read it. Israel's now come to the end of the 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. Okay? So picture this. They've had 40 years cursed. Now they're at the end of that curse. They're about to come into the land. Now I know what I was. That's what I forgot. That's when you interrupt me. Now, I'll go back. Jacob was about to come into the land. When Jacob came into the land, Shechem and the rape of Tamar. See, I remember. The same thing's going on here with the tribes of Israel. When they come into the land, this thing with the Moabite women goes on. This thing with Tamar goes on with Jacob. Now Tamar doesn't connect here. So some parts apply and other parts don't. So you gotta watch. And Israel lived in Shittim, and the people began to fornicate with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people to the sacrifice of their gods. And the people ate and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself to Baal Peor, and the anger of Jehovah was kindled against Israel. So what is so bad about what we just read? All Israel's doing is having relations with other women from another nation and worshiping another god. Really? There's so much more there. I'm not going to tell you that now. And Jehovah said to Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before Jehovah against the sun, so that the fierce anger of Jehovah may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said to the judges of Israel, every one of you kill his men who were joined to Baal Peor. This is serious. This is happening right now in the Philippines. And behold, one of the sons of Israel came and brought to his brothers a woman, a medium, before the eyes of Moses. Hey, look what I got. Look at this gorgeous girl I got. Yeah, we're going to... And before all the congregation, like I just did before all of you guys here, where's Phineas here? Which one of you guys is Phineas? Okay, hang on to him. I don't want him to come up here and stab me accidentally. I'm just doing a demonstration here. And when Phineas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among his congregation and took a spear in his hand and went in after the man of Israel into the tent and pierced both of them through the man of Israel and the woman. This is a princess of Moab, through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the sons of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. The rape of Dinah by Shechem, just after Jacob entered the promised land, was prophetic. It's a prophecy. Remember what we read, the very first thing we read. I even read it in Filipino, wrong country for you. Right? And you guys understood my Filipino. Yeah, liars. That was really bad. Everything you wanted to know about prophecy is found in the first books of the Bible, Genesis. And everything you wanted to know can be found right in the Garden of Eden. Everything, right in the Garden of Eden, if you look there. The sexual perversion was now at the national level of Israel as they're coming into the promised land after the 40 years curse. We're now at that same juncture in our history today, in 2015. This is 3,400 years after that event. (1828). The third millennial day. These are the millennial days according to the Satanic Jubilee Cycles. First millennial day is in green, the second one's in yellow, the third one's in orange, fourth one's in red, fifth one's in blue and purple, and the seventh one's in white. And they're just colors I picked to differentiate each millennial day. God makes a covenant with Abraham. That took place in around 1828. I forgot the exact year right now. So he says to Abram says, is this servant of mine, is that my heir? Am I not going to have an heir? Where's my heir? And Jehovah says to him, no, this servant is not going to be your heir. You shall have your own heir. Both him and Sarah, they're well up there. You know, Sarah's what, 99? So how many of you think you're done having babies? Some of you say, I hope I am. Sarah's 99. And Jehovah says to her, in 4, now, okay, I haven't explained it, but in 4 Shana, Genesis 6:3, I shall not dwell with man forever, for his time shall be 120 Shana, 120 periods of time. It could be 120 days, 120 months, 120 weeks, 120 years, or 120 something else, but they chose years because that sort of made sense. It's 120 Jubilee cycles. That's how we get 6,000 years, right? People multiply 120 by 50, get 6,000 years. They multiply by the wrong number. It's 120 by 49. Each of these are 49. We're going to get into that on Saturday. Yeah? So we're not going to get into it now. So just take my word for the moment. But don't take my word. Prove everything. But Abram is told in 4 Shana. So they said 4 Shana is 4 generations. So 4 generations later, Israel is to come back in the land. So we can count that. down through Moses, and then they come back to the land. So it works. And that's what they're thinking, but that's not what it's talking about. It's 4 Shana, 4 periods of time, 4 millennial days. 1828, that yellow one is the 3rd millennial day, so that counts 1 whole day, the 4th millennial day, the 5th millennial day, and here we are at the end of the 6th millennial day. (2015). Can you see that? Go ahead, stand up, go ahead, take a look if you want to look at it. Don't be shy. I want you to see how close we are. Yeah, but 2015 is where we are now. Okay? The 4th period of time that Jehovah spoke to Abraham, we are there. And this thing, this rape of Dinah, this rape of Tamar, this Balaam thing, this serpent thing is going on now. That's all I've talked about all week long. But I didn't give them the details that I'm giving you guys. Listen to what I'm saying and prove this stuff. Here we are in 2015. Do you have a stick? Do you have a stick? A pointer? No? Okay, don't worry about it. You got it? Yeah, you got one? Okay. We're right here, right now in 2015. Okay, I'm going to explain what all this means here on Saturday. This happens to be the Jubilee cycle that we're in right now. This is the 120th Jubilee cycle. The last Jubilee year was 1996. The next Jubilee year is 2045. So it's 49 years. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. These are each of the Jubilee years. The next one is 2016. Now I'm going to show you it on Saturday. We're going to go through it step by step so that you can prove this. You'll be able to prove it to anybody after Saturday. So show up Saturday, bring your aunt and uncle with you. We're at 2015. Somewhere between this time and 2045, we're going back to the land. Who's an Israelite? Oh, good answer. Okay, who qualifies as an Israelite? Say it again. Those who obey the Torah. So if you're a Martian with antennas, and purple eyes, and green dots all over, are you an Israelite if you obey the Torah? Yes. Yes. Are you an Israelite if you're only black? We have black Hebrews that claim they're the only true Israelites. Is that correct? Is being an Israelite a race issue? Are you as much an Israelite as I am? And I'm a Canadian, I'm Caucasian, you're Malaysian, or why do I keep saying Malaysian? What's the matter with it? Filipinos. Is there a difference? No. None. None. An Israelite is, it's Al, right? As Al said, is anybody who keeps the Torah. You can be grafted in. You may not be the root, but you also may be the root. Doesn't matter. If you're keeping Torah, you are an Israelite. And I don't care if you're from Neptune. Don't let no one tell you you don't have to keep the law. You only have to keep the Noahide law. That is a lie. When we look at Hamar and Jonadab, we can also see parallels in Pharaoh of Egypt. He is similar to Laban. What happened to Laban? Laban gave chase to Jacob just before he goes into the land. A similar teaching. We can also see parallels to Pharaoh. Let's see. These are all thematic correlations. And that's all I'm doing here today, is presenting you with thematic correlations. which help us to understand what will take place in these last days. Weren't we told that the Bible, all of it, was written for our admonition? All these historical events? Pharaoh is pronounced Pa-Ra. P-A... I'm sorry. No, it's pronounced Pa-Ra. Pa-Ra. P-A-R-A-H. Pa means mouth. Ra means bad. Are we saying the same thing? Okay. It's my Canadian accent. I'm sorry. So you guys already know this. Very good. Pharaoh can be read as bad mouth. Satan is represented by Pharaoh. And Laban as well. Hamor and Jonadab also represent Satan, speaking evil in the sight of God of heaven. And he opened his mouth, Revelation 13 verse 6, and he opened his mouth in blasphemies against Elohim to blaspheme his name. Pa-Ra, Pharaoh. Each of these events from the past represents in part what will be just before the final Shuvah. This is Shabbat Shuvah. This is the sabbatical year Shuvah. These are the 10 days of awe. How do the fall holy days fit into the sabbatical Jubilee year cycles? We will explain that, but that's where they are. This represents the 10 days of awe, or 10 years of awe, Shabbat Shuvah, when we will be brought back, the second Exodus. Satan and the false prophet will be speaking blasphemies against Jehovah. We read about that in Revelation. They will encourage the Israelites with false teachings and by whatever other ways and means necessary to cause them to stumble, of which you here in the Philippines are already stumbling over. I keep coming back to this because you don't fully understand what's going on. The doctrine of Balaam is alive today. What is that doctrine? Why do we fast on the Day of Atonement? Why? What are we doing on this day? What's happening on this day? Satan is about to be cast out and locked away. What do? We fast and we pray. Now some people you don't have to fast. They use Isaiah 58 and they say, well, see, that just means doing teshuvah, doing good things. You don't have to fast. Some people get upset. Well, we're going to die not eating all day. I got to have my medication. Really? You're that sick? Maybe you should die. Then we don't have to worry about you anymore. Get off your medication. That's what's making you sick. Why do we fast on this day? The answer is found by Yeshua's own mouth. Matthew 17:19. Then the disciples came to Jesus apart and said, why could we not cast out that demon? And he said to them, because of your unbelief. Really? These are the apostles. For truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of a mustard seed, you shall say to this mountain, move from there to here. And you know what? That's Ike. You should see the stuff that's happening that he's been talking about and thinking about and praying about. Man. And it shall move. And nothing shall be impossible to you. However, this kind of demon does not go out except by prayer and fasting. And the word fasting here in Greek means to do without food or water. During these 10 days of awe, Israel, all 12 tribes, is going to be raped. They're going to be raped so bad that they will grovel with their face in the dust just for their very breath. Everything that Israel has is about to be taken away. Everything. You are a part of Israel, simply because of your DNA composition, which means you are also subject to these curses that I'm going to be talking about. You are in trouble. These 10 days of awe represent the cycle of captivity from Leviticus 26. This is the cycle of war. This is where we are now. This is supposed to be pestilence and earthquakes, and we seem to have had a reprieve. This is severe weather, drought and famine, or droughts, and this is terrorism. And each one gets combined to the other. We still have terrorism, we still have severe weather. These are the 2 or 4 blood moons. There's 2 more dark moons here, and we're going to talk about them later. We're not doing that now. But war is coming. And Israel is going to be raped. That's why we talked about Dinah. That's why we talk about Tamar. That's why we talk about the things we talk about. And that's why we afflict our soul. This raping is not just the raping of a man raping a woman. This is Satan raping a nation.
Sighted Moon.